a mistake when you're inspecting properties that you need to watch where you walk?
Yes. When you're going to rent to tenants that are really not going to take care of things, and we'll get into more of this later, I'm sure. But I'm in a house, and when I'm on a block where I know I have houses, I like to stop in and check the houses and see what's going on. And I'm in one house, and I open the basement door, and the tenant grabs my arm. Oh, Mr. Bud, don't go down there. And I look, and there's no steps. I said, we have steps here, don't we? And there was like a ladder going down. She said, no, we couldn't afford oil last winter, and we chopped up the steps and burned it in the oil furnace. So these are some stories you're going to hear, and these are things that really happen, with tenants, and just be very, very careful.
And be careful with contractors with like fast eddies.
Oh, contractors is another thing. You want to make sure when you're having somebody work on a property that you get a few references. You don't ever want to pay them up front. And years ago, I had a couple houses, and I was referred to this guy Eddie, who was a great oil burner guy. And I hired him. I said, look, I have a problem. My fan in the burner motor is not running. He said, no problem, take a look at it. He calls me, he says, look, it's going to be, I think back then it was like $120. He says, I got a new fan for you, everything's working fine. I said, fine, I paid him, then I went out and checked it. Well, he went to, I guess, the hardware store and bought a fan, a little square fan, and set it next to the burner and plugged it into the wall. So the constant, so when the oil burner came on, the fan would blow the heat. But it wasn't a real, so be very, very careful. Check out all your contractors. Again, if you're going to use management companies, check them out, make sure, because you can really get burned with management companies. If you're just starting out and you only have a few properties, manage them yourself. Be hands-on. It's a great business. But you're going to have horror stories, and you're going to hear some more horror stories. But our class, we have a great time when I teach the tenant landlord class, and it's a fabulous business. It really is.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it. Okay, Kirk, you have a horror story? Yeah, come on up here. And I was so proud of Kirk Boone. Look at him. He looks sharp.
You tell one and the rest later on.
Huh?
You tell one now, the rest later on. I got like 3 of them.
So you tell one now. Tell your most poignant one.
I'll start with the last one. I call this Ian like this. I say a rat cost me $20,000. And the reason why I say that, I had a property in Hollandtown that I had for sale, renovated it, probably put about 40 grand into it, and it was beautiful. So I had a buyer come through there, the one to buy the property. She loved it, absolutely. Walked out back, it was rat holes this size out back, and she saw the rat holes, and she said, is it a big rat problem around here? And I said, Baltimore City, well, the agent said Baltimore City usually has a lot of rat problems. She said, well, these are some big rat holes. So she called 311, and they said it was a major rat problem around there, so she voided the contract. So from just that portion right there, I learned if you ever see rat holes, make sure you cover them up. So I had another buyer about a week later, and this is when I had the property priced at $110. She came through there, loved it. They were ready to sign the contract right there in the kitchen. So she said, let me go out back and see what the back looks like. She went out back, and a rat the size of me came running by. She just said, I can't bring my children in this kind of environment. So I wound up having to drop my price to $90,000 to sell it to an investor. So really, in that story, a rat cost me $20,000.
Thank you. Thanks, Kirk. A lot of years ago, when I first started in the auction business, I had a property on Drew Lake Drive, a 6-unit apartment, and these prospects wanted to see it. It was the type of kitchen where you could enter through the hallway or the living room. And the maintenance man opened the door for us, and we went in. And I walked through the doorway that went into the kitchen, and the prospect walked in the living room. When I walked in, there was a huge lumbering rat. He must have eaten some food or something. He was just walking around like this. I said to the property manager, I said, will you get rid of that for me? So I went into the living room and to talk to the prospects on here. Bam, bam, bam. What the? I said, okay, and they said, where's the kitchen? I said, let me show you the kitchen. No rat was in sight. Maintenance man there smiling. So we do have a lot of rat stories in Baltimore City. So that was an interesting one that I had thought of. Now, how to lose 5, 10? Yes.
Do you have any good ways to get rid of rats?
Black snakes. Yeah. Were you going to say that?
No, I'm just answering your question.
Yeah. Well, Fraser Bishop was a parks ranger. Okay, and what he would do is he would capture black snakes out in Patapsco State Forest and bring them to his house. He says it wouldn't take long. Mice, rats, everything disappears. But you can't tell the tenant that there's a black snake in the basement. It just doesn't work.
Filling the rat holes, use glass, crush up glass. You want to put a little cement in the hole, rat poison, chopped up glass, cement, and then cover the holes. They're going to eat through the cement. They're going to eat the glass. It's going to kill them, and they're going to die, and they won't climb out of the hole.
Right. And if that hole's in the basement, you're going to know they're dead.